Nothing's popping up. Uh-huh. Great. Okay. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we are recording. Our first agenda item is citizen comments. So do we have any citizens here today? We do not. So we will move on to C. The first thing that we're going to do is 24-781, consider approval of the September 18th, 2024 meeting minutes and take the appropriate action. And you have those minutes, so if you want to take just a moment, they were also sent to you by email.
I move to approve the minutes for September 18th, 2024.
I second. Thank you. The minutes have been moved for approval and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to 24-788. We will be receiving a report on the coordination of the Sister Cities program. Staff is present today to report on the coordination of the Sister Cities program, as there will be visitors from the UK and Germany that will need host families.
Alyssa Vera, Director of Economic Development, Tourism and Planning. You guys wanted something to do? Boy, do I have something for y'all to do. This is the 45th and the 55th year. So, 55th and 45th from Germany and England. We're planning it for October 2025. So I know this is going to be in between board members, so definitely a subcommittee. We would need host families, but tell me that wouldn't be a great idea to do Oktoberfest. You do have to do a special ceremony for them. Just an idea, you don't have to listen to me. But having a subcommittee to, again, get host families and to kind of coordinate some type of special ceremony welcoming individuals from Germany and or England. I'm getting all of those events. Sorry, got an email. So I'm getting all of the contacts so we can see. It seems like individuals from Germany are a little bit more prone to come than from England, but I'll definitely give you guys more information as I have it. But this is something to start planning, whoever wants to be in the subcommittee, and
They'd be here at the same time or not necessarily?
I'll be here at the same time. The last time we had this was in 2022, and individuals went over there to Germany from Farmers Branch, and it was for about 10 days. So we'll have to coordinate how many days, again, but who can, and how many people are coming. So it could be, it looks like we had about 8 people go to Germany, so it can range anything, the more the merrier. But I think that having an event as a welcome ceremony within this facility would be a great idea, and October's not bad weather, so,
Oh.
and who doesn't like October? But yeah, so I'll have more information as it comes. It was just given to me, while I was on vacation, so, not vacation, while I was on a training, so I'll let you guys know, but just as something to start planning.
Side note, I was on one of the original trips to Bassett Law, England,
Perfect.
and my mother's best friend is from that trip, and they have stayed friends all these years. And we go back and we visit Pauline and her family regularly. We're in contact with them all the time, so it's kind of neat
So she'll-
that there's that connection. Yeah, we'll say, Pauline, it's your turn to come on back.
That is great, so yeah.
I like the Oktoberfest idea. Part of me feels like if you're doing something to recognize the Germans, you have to do something to recognize the Brits too, right? But,
Correct.
I'm trying to pull the details together in my mind, but there was a cricket league, a local cricket league that's starting.
Oh,
Just read something
yeah.
about it.
Very interesting.
Somehow host a,
There we go.
right,
I think that sounds like that might be your subcommittee.
That's You want to volunteer?
That is great.
Oktoberfest is technically celebrated in September.
September,
Yeah,
yeah.
so the wedding that was in October.
You're correct.
I'm a nerd.
FYI, yeah.
And is it both German cities that are coming?
We're going to try, because yeah, we do have 2 German cities and one, other German city is a friendship city. We can only have one within each continent, I believe, for it to be a sister city. So we had to consider this a friendship city.
Mhm.
And that's, I'm gonna butcher it, Schonbeck, Germany,
Mhm.
Garbsen, Germany, and Beckwith, England. So yeah, we'll reach out to all 3.
Great.
Do we have exact dates or just
Just
October?
with the subcommittee, we can look at what else is going on. Bluegrass will no longer be here, so that opens up for some time frame as well, so. Subcommittee.
Sounds great.
Thank you, whoever's doing the subcommittee with us.
Thank you so much. That's going to be fun. Looking forward to that. All right, let's move on to 24-783 and receive a report on Mustang Station Art and Cultural District. And staff will present a report on the branding.
And it's more on the remarketing. David, you had asked for this to be added to the agenda. And so, I know Perlo has been, working on, has some plans to possibly remarket, Mustang Station and, that's why our Step and Repeat has the arts and culture and the Mustang Station logo there. So, is there any updates on new restaurants coming into the area or new?
Senor Oink is the final one.
Senior Oink.
Boy, I love it. Yeah, so that is the final one.
That sounds
They
like a
submitted their plans and we're going through the permits. It's a taco shop. Apparently they have like a speakeasy downtown. Very lovely. I love it. I'm excited. So now you'll have, like I said, you'll have the Asian, you'll have the beer, you'll have the Italian, you'll have the roots, and then you'll have tacos.
It feels like a multicultural.
It's very, I think that's
Yeah,
great. And
nice.
I do want to also, and as far as the branding, I'm working, so marketing is under all communications is under the Director of Administrative Services. So rather than us having our own free will on some branding, we have to go through them. So that will take some time, but I'm glad that that's on there so I can bring that to their attention. So. But yeah, so Senor Oink is hopefully going to be opening second quarter 2025, but I know I'm helping them with some of their permits. The tacos to come.
That's exciting.
So we're not using any of the marketing that was previously
prepared.
It is, but for us to be able to post it, so economic development has no social media.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to advertise to make social media so I can post Mustang. The only thing right now we have is a tourism, the Discover Farmers Branch. And they're the only ones that are advertising, but we as economic development can advertise right now.
So what I was hoping for, Bonnie, was, you know, we did sign toppers.
Mhm.
And there in certain places, you at one time sent us a map where these were.
Correct, there's 15 of them.
It would be interesting to poll the table and see if anyone has ever seen one of these.
There's one on my street. I live in the Mustang Arts and Culture District.
I've seen one of them. I didn't know there were 15.
And then, you know, they presented to us visual concepts of what the art looked like. And we actually did some electric box wraps using this art.
Correct.
So that's what I was hoping, that if everyone could have this secret information that's in my book, that I thought would be good for the group.
What do you mean, the secret and?
Well, just, I was hoping that everyone would get this same stuff.
Well, there's an interactive map on our website, the Arts and Culture website, that if you click on the pin, it pops up exactly where everything is located on Arts and Culture. We have a whole interactive map that shows where all the electrical boxes are, where the street sign toppers are, where the artwork around the city. We have over 25 art pieces. So that is all right on the Arts and Culture website. If you go to Discover Farmers Brand, it takes you right to the Arts and Culture website, and it has all that information on there. And I believe I sent everyone the link to that.
Mhm.
Did I not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Yep.
And it'll also be covered in the annual update to council in November.
Super.
I think it's interesting that part of this Arts and Culture District is residential, because my street is part of it. And I'm not sure what the reason was for that or how the borders were drawn up, but I happen to be an artist living in the Arts and Culture District. So I thought that was pretty cool when that sign went up. And I don't know, I'm just wondering what the reason for that was, and can I use it? Can I stick that on my website and say I live in the Mustang Arts and Culture District, or is that?
It was part of an overall comprehensive plan as far as the residential, the districts, which was approved. As far as because you're a board member, you would have to get approval from the city to be able to post it on yours.
Gotcha.
Send city management an email, not me. You can't send me and then I can forward it to them. But it's very specific. We had another board member for P and Z asked if they can use the logo, the city logo as well. And very restrictive on the logo usage, so
Gotcha.
we can get clarification once it goes to city.
Restrictive on the arts and culture district logo.
And
Okay,
it's
I have a
called the
question for you.
Mustang Station Arts and Culture District. It's the official name of it. And we also have some wayfinding signs that say Arts and Culture District, along with the historical park and different places throughout the city.
Any other discussion? Let's move on to 24-782. And this is receive subcommittee updates and take appropriate action. This allows us to report, discuss, and exchange information regarding a subcommittee. So we are going to discuss in this section the plan of work for fiscal year 24-25. We do have a worksheet attached that was sent to all of us. And then discuss the possibility of changing the quantity, the names, and or the descriptions of subcommittees. The current subcommittees are art in public spaces, artist outreach, grant making and funding, festivals and contests. And committee members are encouraged to participate in the subcommittees that best reflect their gifts and interests.
And Do you want to just bring this to the attention that there's always a memo attached that has?
There is, so that's what I'm reading off of,
Yeah.
by the way. When you go on to and I printed this straight off the website, so when you go in boards and commissions, there's a place where you can click on the agenda, and that's always posted. And then when you click on the file number on the side, then it will take you to a cover memo, and that explains what will function under that file. So I think that's very helpful. That way we kind of know what to plan for and what we're going to be discussing. So actually, what I think we ought to do before we get on plan of work is quickly go through subcommittee reports and then go on to plan of work. Does that sound good?
I think that sounds great.
Great. So let's start with art in public spaces. Any new updates?
Well, as we talked about, the 3 West Side art pieces are owned now by the city of Farmers Branch, have been delivered and are going to be installed in the median along the West Side Art Trail in the very near future. And that is going to be determined, but we're hoping for it to happen soon.
Great. Okay, artist outreach, that's me. No new changes. Grant making and funding,
Any changes?
festivals and contests, lots of information.
I guess that's me, huh?
That is you.
Yeah, sorry, I was typing. Very excited. We have 43 pieces performing on October 20th. We had 28 last year, just for reference. All style, a lot of different styles of dance. So if you're able to come out, we would love to have you out there. The actual event is from 1 to 4. But we'll be out there from 11 to probably 5, just with setup and strike and that kind of thing.
And arts and culture will have a table
Yes.
out there.
It would be very helpful if somebody might be available and could even take shifts, but be at that table to communicate with everybody, answer questions, talk about the art and culture committee. Because Dawn and I, Brianna, we're running around running the event. So somebody could be there and even take, an hour shift. That'd be really appreciated.
I could be there.
Great.
Sunday the 20th.
Yeah.
And Lydia will be there also, assisting, and I'm hoping to stop by. It is Bluegrass weekend, so
I
a
know.
lot of us are working all weekend, but I'm hoping to stop by. But it's nice just to go out there, since it is the Arts and Culture Committee that is putting it on.
Be great. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah,
And
we
we
really
also
appreciate
have a photographer that's
Yes, so John and Lois Lehman have offered their services. There are volunteer photographers that come to a lot of our events at the historical park, and they're fantastic. And they are going to volunteer their time and come out and take some photos of the dancers and the event itself.
And the families.
Yes.
And yes, that'll be
Yes,
great.
they usually do an overall great of a mix of a lot of different pictures.
So
So.
that will be great. And then if you're there, just it would help us to maybe get a head count of how many
Mhm.
people we think are there, just so we can add it to the report for our November.
And I have a clicker that I can.
Awesome.
I have my clicker.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That
So
would be
you're-
great.
You're welcome to borrow that.
We also have a software too that can track people depending on the location. It's a little behind, so it'd take 3 months to get data, but I can give you data too.
Oh.
I'll come and volunteer at the table for a little bit,
Great.
so I'll give you a head count. I do that professionally.
Wow.
Oh, this is excellent.
Fantastic.
It's all- It's all just by looking, but I can give you down to about 5 people.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Wow.
Well-trained dog. You one of those guys that counts the sheep in, Sweden?
No, but it's kind of the same process.
I love that.
Nice.
That's
So-
I was
fantastic.
trained in church at a very young age.
And-
Other than counting people, can you let us know what sort of things you want to have happen at that table? What sort of information we should be sharing or?
We'll
what do you
give you, a lineup order in case somebody comes to you and asks, okay, you know.
Is my kid
I'm
coming on?
yes, exactly. So you'll have all the information in front of you.
Okay.
As well as we'll give you the information about where the dressing rooms are, the bathrooms, all of
Great.
that sort of thing. And then also just saying this is an event
Friendly
friendly.
face, yeah, to greet.
Yeah, be the face of the committee. That would be great. But yeah, we'll make sure that you have everything.
It's hard for me to stand for a long time. There's chairs at the.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes,
of course, we
absolutely.
provide chairs.
I can do 2 to 4.
That's
Okay.
amazing. Thank you.
These would be good to put on the table that we'll be sitting so that people know.
Correct.
Coming events.
Yes, we're gonna have some marketing collateral.
So even though it's 1 to 4, you probably want us in place before 1, right? What time?
They are
wants to
expected to be
start.
there 30 minutes ahead of time if they're a performer.
Okay.
Um,
So really you need somebody at the table starting at 12:30.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And
And
of course,
where will the table be set up?
you can't miss it. I mean, it's just,
Will it be on the little walk area or is it gonna be down in by the performing area?
it's by the performing area, by the walkway. So you can't, like,
So-
literally as you
Yeah,
walk.
we come in from the Ford Road
Okay,
entrance, so
that's
we're
what-
not coming in, we're
Yeah.
not coming in from this entrance, although some people do get confused, even though we've sent them multiple emails telling people. So that'll be the other thing, if you happen to be here working the event and you see people wandering aimlessly in sequence, head them our way.
Well, and we are gonna have the parking signs left up
That's
from
awesome.
Bluegrass. So they'll know, it'll tell them to continue along Farmers Branch Lane and turn down Ford Road. And they'll be parking at Metro Square. And Kim was trying to see if we can park a little closer at Counter Doors. I'm not sure on
I
that.
think that's where we parked.
Is that-
We did park
Good.
there last year.
Yeah. we
Yeah,
were-
I think that's fine. I do have a Girl Scout troop coming in earlier that morning. That's gonna probably be parking in here. And,
That's good, though, they'll take up the spots.
yeah, they'll take
Yeah.
some of the spots,
That's
but
excellent.
there's 59 spots here, so there are some, but we really do want them to park down that way, because the entrance to it, is that gate will be open. And the beautiful thing, once I come in, the table's gonna be there. And then the stage is gonna be off to the left with the Gilbert House right there. And we're leaving the bales of hay and all the plants and pumpkins that will be in front of the stage to give it like a fall fest atmosphere.
And just things that will pop up that you just don't expect. And then you're one person, because she was emceeing, so I was one person just
Mhm.
answering everything.
Mhm.
Like if somebody's, disabled and somebody just had surgery or something and she was wondering if she could park so she could, and I was like, absolutely, let me help you. And I grabbed.
No,
her.
go get.
So it's just things like that you don't anticipate,
Yeah.
and then that just, it will arise, and
Mhm.
it just is nice to have other people there to kind of help assist
Mhm.
and those kind of things.
Well, we had a woman who came up to us after the event that lives at a retirement home in the area. Nobody ever comes and visits her retirement home and performs. And she just wanted to leave her name and number so somebody,
Hmm.
could pass it on. And my studio actually did end up going a couple weeks later.
It
And
was
we
a-
performed for them. And they, for some reason, have no one, no school choirs, nobody comes to perform for them.
Mm.
So,
Wow.
that's a possibility too. You might have to have, we maybe need, paper.
Well, and it was,
Paper to write down, if somebody, wants to leave their information.
she just so happened to have a card that she handed me, and so I was able to have that. But just interacting with the crowd as they arrive with.
An ambassador.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was great to have and to create those relationships with people in our community, and just, some of them were like, well, where did you advertise? Or how did you hear about us, or whatever. So you kind of get the flip side of, okay, next year we need to do a better job communicating. Like this year we got it in the dance council because somebody mentioned it to me last year. It's like, you're right. That is something we should do. And so.
So it's in their newsletter.
So it's in there this year. So it's just, I feel like you just learn so much from people, to make an event better.
And
so
this
that's
is what the flyer.
Mhm.
So you might have seen this, And we did capture some beautiful, this is one dance company and it was fantastic.
It might help or hinder, but we all know that that's only southbound.
Oh,
Drive.
yes.
The heads up, and then that one's only northbound. What is that, Tom?
Tom Field, yeah.
So just as a
I
heads
live off
up
of
too,
Bloomfield.
so.
I
Okay,
know there's been so much traffic. I'm like, did they change the
it's
direction?
just
They must have just did
It
that.
started on Monday.
Okay.
okay, so Tom Field,
Is just
Northbound.
northbound, and Denton Drive is southbound.
Mm.
For
So
now.
I'm taking Jersey.
That's what I
But
was
Tom
gonna say.
Field,
This
I
will
live
people
off
to
of
go
Tom Field
Jersey.
and it changes
It depends on.
every
the
day
so-
almost, you know, you
It
don't.
does. I
you
don't
don't-
drive all the way
Can
around
I-
just to get in my.
can I
house.
give you my cell number? So
Yes.
This way,
If it changes.
if it changes.
You wanna,
that-
I mean, you wanna put it on camera or would you rather just, you know,
Okay, so.
write it down?
Right.
That's true.
So-
That's what it tells the world.
Just so- okay, go.
That was a good point.
I was, that's what my hesitation, not that it, I mean, it's pretty, it's pretty out there, but.
Tom Field. Oh, that's the public work.
Also, we do, you know, we have got, we have, if it does rain, because we don't know what will happen, that we do have a contingency plan in place that it would be at our alternative if it does rain, just so we can still have the event.
It's a lot of people that have committed to
You-
this
yeah,
time, you
and
know,
it's-
43 groups and, you
It's a
know.
lot of people, you want them to have the opportunity. They've been working really hard. for
Yes.
that.
I have a question. I know I was gonna bring that black tarp, like sheet or whatever. Is there any need for like having a little area for each of the performance groups to have to put their stuff down if they bring anything? So are we gonna tell them not to bring things? So we don't have to like look out for that?
They have been instructed to take care of like whether if they have a parent that needs to watch it or whatever, but they have been instructed to take care of their own things. So this way it's not on us if something were to.
And last year we did, I think, open the schoolhouse for
Yep.
them
There was-
and
There's lots of places for them to kind of be and to change and to do what they needed to do.
and some groups have those.
Yep.
Some have little pop-ups
Yeah.
that they want, I mean, some of them are, they got it
Become
down.
art.
Yeah, they do. And they just have these pop-ups and they change right there and it's pretty amazing.
Restroom is there as
Yes.
Yeah.
And the catering kitchen has a bathroom in it also that we.
I know Brianna's still working on, see if we can get a food truck. We're still in the process of hoping that can happen, but if not, it's okay. It's not that end of the world, but it would be a nice addition if we can do that. I also had a school reach out to me, yesterday to see if they could possibly face paint, and maybe do some little art activities. We will have Newman Smith that will have some artwork to sell, but obviously any of that goes back into the schools, whatever is sold. So they're not like a true vendor where they're.
And they did it last year and it
Yes.
was no problem. And face painting either needs to be free or
Yeah.
the proceeds go back
Yeah.
to the school.
And so we'll see if I just responded back to him today because I wanted to make sure that was okay. And so we will, I'll see if he's available on that particular day and then we'll see if that's an added addition as well. So that's where we're at with that.
And the weather looks good so far.
It depends on the day. I constantly am looking, but last year was the absolute most perfect weather day we could have asked for. And so we're gonna hope that happens again. I mean, I was in shorts and a t-shirt last year. That's how like perfect it was. So thank you for those of you that are gonna come out and join us. Then, hopefully it'll be a fun event. And then we'll be able to report back
That's right.
on it the next time we see you on how it went. And
Well, I'm just doing the math. That's a lot of people.
yes,
That's exciting.
yes. It's gonna be very exciting and, we'll also, just to let you know, there's kind of like a little pathway. And last year we kind of sat behind the pathway and it filled up and we didn't know how it would fill up. And then people wanted to kind of come in the front and bring their pairs. And I was like, people have been here for a while. So this year I'm gonna see if I can get some groups to start further closer, you know, whether it's on blankets or something like
Well,
that.
that's where the hay will be.
So,
Yep.
but there's still with some area, even.
Yes,
Yeah.
in between. Oh, yeah, in between the hay bales.
Okay,
Yes.
there's still
You put-
area.
Yes,
Okay.
you can put chairs in there, you can put blankets down, yes. They're kind of scattered out.
Scattered.
So, yes, but they're closer to the stage and then it can go all the way
Yes.
back beyond
Yes,
the,
just so we can
walkway.
have, yeah, I just want to make sure everybody can see what, you
absolutely.
know, the dancers on stage.
Yeah.
Since they've worked really hard. So yeah, so all that's going really well. Subcommittee met and got some things taken care of, so that was good. So thank
Very
you for-
excited.
And then Jennifer is going to create a QR code. So this
the
way,
program.
yeah, so this way people can come
Sometimes
and
that's-
they'll be able to see, the order. And that will also be great to have at the table too. We'll have some signs, but that, you know, there's a QR
The
code.
QR code will just be your lineup.
Basically a digital
It'll-
playbill.
that's a PDF.
So it'll have,
Because you
it'll have the
can make
lineup, but
paper
also the
events and that.
choreographer, the name of
Oh, you can put more
the
detail.
company. Yes,
Okay.
yes, so,
Yeah,
short digital playbill.
yeah, no dancers, like, it's not
No,
gonna be
no
like the list of all
dancers'
the
names.
dancers or whatever.
Will it give times?
No, and I'll tell
Just
you why.
order.
Yes, because if something runs behind or something gets ahead, yes, we want to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And so the best way to do that
We
is to
did
not give
try,
them exact minutes.
we did try our best because Amy MCs it and she did a phenomenal job
Yeah.
last year. And I kind of am the gatekeeper of, okay, the time. So I can kind of be like, drag it out, you know, or come on, speed it up, kind of a thing. And so she was able to take cues from me. So this way she can, you know, do whatever she needed to do. And this way that kind of helps. But I'll keep the time sheet and I'll be like, okay, we gotta, because I like to try to keep it on
Schedule.
get as much on schedule as possible because people are coming for that. It could be that targeted time. We got lucky last year. A lot of people just stayed for the entire event.
Because you had great weather, but
Yeah.
you're going from 28 to 43, is that correct?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's a
Mhm.
big difference. Here's kind of Amy in action last year. She was introducing.
Well, you were a queen.
We had some pageant queens out.
Yeah.
Now, those are my students.
Ruby and Lola. Yeah.
Ruby and Lola Chabot are pageant queens. But yeah, we had to fill last year.
Yes.
Cause some groups needed a little longer to change shoes or whatever. I don't think that's gonna happen this year because there's so many more groups that we could, if we had to, slot somebody else in and then go back and pick them up. So it'll be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be,
It'll go smooth.
it's gonna be a continuous motion. We hope that's the goal anyway.
We're speaking it out into existence.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's gonna happen. So, all right, so that's kind of that. And then we do have the Farmers Branch Carrollton Art Association that will be at the Mansky Library. That will be in November, and that's usually at November to December. And they do like a scholarship and best of show and some different awards that they award the students. And it's the 4 high schools of CFB that participate in that.
So it's high school students.
Correct.
Okay.
That's coming up. And then I guess,
Can I ask a question on that?
absolutely.
Is that something run by the arts group?
It's the Farmers Branch Carrollton Art Association that I work with every year, and they have their own little small committee that they have these funds that have wanted to continue this forever since I've been in my job since 2013. And it was even prior to that. So yeah, so it's something that
And they
they
do scholarships.
do some scholarships, and then they do some awards depending on what the, like a best of show, first place, second place kind
Yeah,
of.
no, I remember going and looking at it. I didn't know it was scholarship. I thought it was just awarding
Yeah,
ribbons.
and it, depending on the funds that they have at the moment, that scholarship could adjust
Okay.
from year to year.
Cool.
So it's whatever kind of they have, and then
Has the deadline passed for students to enter
What happens is that they're all working on it now. And then they put it up on, they go bring it, I think November I'd have to go look it up, but I think it's like November, no, it's October. Could be November 1st. I think it's November 1st. Then they put it up, then the committee comes, they do all their things and it stays up for about a month and then they take it down. That's how that.
Fantastic.
So yeah, so that's coming up. And then electrical boxes, do we know anything more on that as far as if we're going to do another round? Is it gonna?
And that's something to be discussed once you decide on the subcommittees, then we can go there. And
Right.
Yes, we do want to do electrical boxes and it depends on if you want art or if you want photography. I noticed, I went back through and saw that you all did a photo
did.
contest a few years back and pulled some pictures. So that would be, once you all decide on what you would like your committees to be, then you can decide on what type of contest you would like, whether, like I discussed, so that could be after you decide your committees. But yes, we do see that in the near future also.
And just to let you know, if you decide on the festivals and contests, I'm very open. Don't feel like because I always feel like I talk a lot and say all the things. But I mean, I'm also a great listener and well, it's all right. I don't want you to feel like, because sometimes you're like, well, what? Well, I have ideas and she might not listen to those, but I so there. Okay.
Last time I asked the city staff if they could provide a list of the intersections that were to be improved, because I think there was a contract, like where 6 of them had just been highlighted or green lighted to be done, but there's like 120 total throughout the city, and I don't know if all of them are meant to be replaced. I didn't know if they had provided an update for that.
And you're talking about, I'm sorry,
There's like traffic signal intersection improvements. I can find the info for you, but there was a contract got like 6 of them to be updated, but it's part of a larger contract that identified that there's 120 of them in the city and that they intend to like update or replace or whatever.
So we don't want to wrap those.
Yeah,
Is
well, no, it's not that we don't want to wrap them, it's that
You wouldn't
if
want
we
to
know
do
that
it.
they're being improved, then we can get the dimensions for it and then know that as they're finishing it up, we can get it wrapped.
After. Yes.
So that would go under that committee.
Yes, and we're probably looking at a small quantity, so I would like to pick ones that are established and maybe not gonna change for right now. Because we have the 2 sizes of the
Yes.
electrical versus the traffic signal boxes, so we want to, it was recommended that we pick in advance the exact locations. And then after we do that, we could research whether those are gonna stay in place. And we can go from there on where we would like to wrap, whether that's 3 more, 6 more, we just have to, I think, once the subcommittee's in place, we can go further in depth with that.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you,
Thanks for
Don.
yeah.
Great update. All right, I think we're ready to move on to, let's talk about our subcommittees. I think the first thing is, does anybody have a subcommittee that you feel, A, we need to strike off the list we've already got, or B, any subcommittees that you feel like we're lacking?
I would love to see maybe, like I don't know, like a think tank committee where it's just brainstorming potentials, ideas, projects that we know we can't maybe do action on, but we have to pull as a resource.
And if we want to get rid of the grant making and funding one, then that could fit into that one. Like a planning.
Because I think we all want to share ideas, but we also know we can't execute everything in a term.
Sure.
And we really want to come up with goals, up to 3
Mhm.
for a particular year. So this would be for 2025 or so next month will be our last meeting and then we'll start fresh in January. So it's really what are achievable, obtainable goals for 2025 realistically. So I love that. Have you guys thought of names or is there people interested in being on a committee like that?
Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and list all the options
Okay.
here before we decide who's gonna be on what or
Okay.
what it's gonna do.
I've got a question. I'm sorry. I feel like Bonnie, maybe it was you mentioned last meeting that there was going to be a study session in November, a working session or something for our committee?
Correct.
What is, and
Hillary, do
explain
you
it
want
to
to
me.
talk about that? The committee, the
So November 12th, on a Tuesday, every year we do annual updates to city council, all of the boards and commissions.
Okay.
So they go over a year in review from the last presentation of what the board has accomplished. So, working with Amy will present to city council. Everyone's of course invited to attend. And it will show everything that, Bonnie and I just started kind
I
of coming up with.
actually have a-
everything.
draft of it. Yeah.
So it'll show, everything that y'all have accomplished this past year, ideas for the future, but the main and most important thing is to be able to ask city council, what is their vision for the Arts and Culture Committee? What do they want to see you accomplish and do?
Mhm.
And that was something that direction from council.
Yes.
We have that as our last instead of question. It's kind of like direction from council. And once we present, this isn't in stone, but the idea is we have presented what we've accomplished this year and some of our future ideas as city council. What is your vision for the future of arts and culture in the city of Farmers Branch?
Mhm.
So,
Now, I've got a question for you, Brianna. I think what I understood you to say, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds to me like, wouldn't it be great if we had a meeting where we just had a brainstorming session? Is that what you're saying? Because I think that would be great. And then we can take all of our ideas of what we'd like to do and then kind of sort them into what is logical subcommittees.
So what I'm saying is, we should have a committee that's job is to brainstorm things and write it down. So that then we have
an ongoing list.
an ongoing list, so that when they say this is the direction we want to go, and she comes in and says like, for example, the sister city thing, we would already have a couple of ideas as a special welcome, because we would have a list of things that we could do, and then we'd just be able to kind of incorporate them into initiatives that are coming from
Mhm.
the city council and other committees. So that's why I just said it was like a think tank.
Okay, it seems to me like this is the think tank. I mean,
Mhm.
and that, why don't we have a meeting where we just have our brainstorming? And, I mean, I can't see it being like, 3 people from this committee having, you know what I mean? I just feel like that's what the purpose of this group.
You see it as an umbrella element that then breaks to committees to execute.
Right, but the ideas come from all of us and then we kind of sort them into silos of the different categories.
A resolution item though on here saying, so it would be included on the agenda too. That's probably why subcommittee was recommended. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Right.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for now.
Oh,
Just so I
definitely.
understand, if it's named as a subcommittee, we can meet another time. But if it's not named as a subcommittee,
Yeah.
it's a regular agenda item. And then,
Has to be
Okay.
posted
Exactly.
like in advance.
so it could be that way.
It could be an
Yes.
agenda item.
You can make
So-
it an ongoing agenda.
That's right.
We just have
We
to know.
We could have we could have it as an agenda item if you choose to, and then we can, leave it at, we can discuss for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever we come up with for, a few months. It could be an ongoing agenda item. It's for you all to decide.
What's your feeling about that?
I'm open to either, and it could even, the committee then, if the subcommittee could then take the idea, because if we have a 15-minute window to spitball a bunch of options as new business or new whatever on the agenda, then the committee could take those things that came from the larger group and says, that's feasible, this is how we would execute it, that's how we would want to do that. Because there's 15 minutes is not enough time,
Right.
even if we met regularly. So it could be that this think tank, for lack of a better word, could be all right, from all of those ideas that we had in the open conversation, what can actually be done and what would it look like? Shape
And
it out.
what can be done in the time frame?
Mhm.
So what's realistic? Because I think all ideas are great. I'm one of those people when I walk into a store and someone says, oh, well, we've never done that. We don't, I'm like, okay, well, let's figure this out. How can we make it work? So I think all ideas are great. It's just what are the top ideas that you feel are realistic for the goals for
And so
2025?
some brainstorming ideas might fall under festivals and contests. That subcommittee could take that one, or
Or maybe it's not till 2026 that it,
Gets pulled off the table.
I think it's
But
important, the
this subcommittee-
achievable, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, yes, but this one would be like new ideas that don't have another place to sort of flush them out.
Mhm.
So it's sort of like the new projects subcommittee.
that's for you all to decide to define.
Okay, so
Whatever.
So if we don't have it as an agenda item, and instead we do the subcommittee route, then you could, I'm just assuming you because it was your idea, but it doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be. As an example, you would hold a subcommittee meeting, any of us could come and
Always.
spitball all these ideas. And then whoever is on the subcommittee boils them down and fleshes them out and
Mhm.
maybe puts them into the,
Mhm.
what category that they are.
And when we do
Agreed.
our agenda item for
That's right.
subcommittee reports,
Mhm.
the rest
It
of
could
us
be
could
discussed.
chime in and.
The thing I will say with that, which I think is a great idea, but we do need to remember that whatever we do, there's achievable goals. So I think if that committee exists, it's really setting us up for the following year for what we do on our plan of work.
Mhm.
And we need to make sure we're doing our plan of work also for 2025, because in November next year, 2025, we will have wanted to meet our goals on underneath our committees. So this way we can show these are the things that we have accomplished throughout the year as whoever, I guess it would be, it could be somebody new because we have different, it could be a different chairperson, but that person would take it in November and go to council. So we want to make sure we have very attainable goals that we achieve, and we can say, we did this, and this. I think it's a great idea, and that sets us up for, I think, the following year, because then you've had all these time to think, because otherwise we don't know where to stick them yet.
So the proposal is
Right.
to create a subcommittee whose goal is to vet and percolate new ideas for new projects for not this year, but the next year, and present 3 to 6 ideas for the next year.
For 2025.
No, for 2026.
2026, because we already
We
have
already-
to have what we're gonna do.
By
Like,
November 12th.
well, today, I think. we're
Today, we
supposed-
have to vote on some things.
Well, we're not voting today. We're discussing and
Sorry.
coming up with.
So I think we're thinking too big. Can we go back? Because what we might find is the committee you very well just suggested might fall under something else.
Right.
So if we could go through and list all of the subcommittees that we think might be appropriate and move from there rather than discuss each subcommittee individually.
I don't know if this helps, but if we did it like a planning committee, what she's talking about, then we can move the grant making funding back, but then you can see that this meeting is more of the actionable things, the things that have been approved by the city that we can make actionable moves towards, like setting up the branch arts lives, volunteers and stuff like that.
All right,
So do you want to read again what are subcommittees that are in place?
Currently.
Yeah, they're right here.
Yes, arts in public spaces, artist outreach, grant making funding, festivals and contests. And I personally think festivals and contests has to stay.
Mhm.
But that's just me. I think that's a working, functioning committee that probably needs to stay in place. Now, you might even divide it out. You might need to do festivals as its own committee and contests. It may not be the same, but I think that's a functioning thing that needs to stay. Everything else I'm open to.
I'm interested in artist outreach, and from our prior discussions, it seems like that's something the city council still wants to be an ongoing thing.
Sounds like to me too, yes.
So.
So
I
put
think
it
that
down
was-
as a possibility.
That's right.
Got it.
The art in public spaces, I'm kind of curious on the thoughts on that. It seems like that's probably an ongoing thing, but I was gonna ask about feedback now that these pieces are about to be placed and that
Well, the
project is about to wrap up.
The interesting thing is it served different purposes throughout the years, so it wasn't just the West Side Art Trail art installation.
Mhm.
Previously, there was it TIF money that paid for the Brookhaven
Mustang
college
Station,
students? There's an art piece in Mustang Station.
Mhm.
That was a sculpture that was paid for out of TIF money, and that was something that committee was responsible for. There
Yeah,
have been the You Are Beautiful sign that was gifted to the city of Farmers Branch,
The love lot.
the love locks. Then that committee also helped design the plaques that went on all those art pieces. So I think that committee kind of serves the purpose. When something comes under our purview, then we need to have a committee in place that then can service whatever that need is.
Okay,
So I think that's going to continue to be an ongoing thing.
Sounds like it should be. I would like to look at the contests as not being its own subcommittee, but contests itself get executed based on where it falls in another committee. And here's what I mean by that. Arts in public spaces should be managing the contest and the placement of art on the electrical boxes, because that is art in public spaces.
Mhm.
And it goes with a sculpture that's put in the median, or a sculpture in the middle of Mustang Station, or the electrical box.
That's right.
And then executing the contest is just an element of how you get that piece of art in a public space. And so the other contest would be, so your festival awards winners, and therefore it becomes a contest instead of just a display, then the festival is running that end of the contest. Is that, like, if there's a contest, it goes with whatever the action item is.
That makes a lot of
I like
sense.
that.
Well, and that would give the art in public spaces that somewhat is a response committee potentially more work to have consistently.
It takes the action along with the idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great.
Now, when you say art in public spaces, everything that has been talked about so far in that has been a visual art piece. Now, to me, art is, more than visual. I'm a visual artist, but I would think art in public spaces might also mean live music playing at some place. At the historical park, at the someplace. Or I don't know, a dance display or something, not a festival where it's one after another, but one like Amy's Studio gets invited and they do, something thematic maybe that goes along with the season or the whatever. So
Just bringing it to public.
yeah, bringing it to the public, and not as a contest, not as a, part of a bigger festival, but has that been done before in terms, or has all of the art in public spaces been visual art installations that are permanent or semi-permanent?
Visual art so far, and here's the thing, because again, it's been a response to something that city council has asked us to do.
Mhm.
So to be very clear, our job is not to, outside of the one thing we did, our job is not really to create events or services or anything like that. And way back, I think even before David joined, we were actually asked to go to each of the different committees. This has been years ago, hadn't it? We were asked to attend each of the different committees and simply suggest ways that a more artistic element could be brought to some of the events. Now, council has a little bit different vision on all the events, and there's some choices being made about where they want resources to be put. So that may not be exactly the vision at this time, but that was really more of our purpose originally, was to simply add an artistic element to pre-existing events, because there's not a budget and there's not funding. So this isn't something that we can offer. We're going to set up an event and bring in live musicians for something. We do have a database as far as artist outreach. So if council said we would like to have a violinist play at this event, is there a local violinist? They could go to that artist outreach data or to that committee and say, hey, who you got on this list? And that's a way that we could again respond to their needs.
That's
Does
But in
that-
theory, what you're talking about could be possible, right? Just, I mean, suspending disbelief for a minute, but if they somehow decided, you know, we're gonna open the 1875 building in order to promote it, we're gonna open it every Saturday and have a pianist or a violinist insert.
But that wouldn't
For instance-
necessarily be our job to find that person and to
Right.
hire them and contract them, right?
Here's
Because
an
we're not in the
example.
business of contracts.
So the
Not to make
the historical part puts on a Day of the Dead celebration. So I reached out to Dawn and asked her if she knew any folklorico, since she works for CFB, and we didn't have funding, but we can do something special. So through the arts and culture of Dawn and her working for CFB, I was able to have a contact of our alternative, their folklorico dancers. They're called the Royal Lion Dance
Mhm.
Company, I believe.
That will be at the Branch Arts Live event.
Yes.
And that will also be performing at our Day of the Dead celebration. So that's
They're
a
gonna be
a
busy.
collaboration of where and I've met with Jonathan and I've been working with him on, he's representing several countries and he has been working with the kids since school started. He knew in the spring that I wanted him back. He's gonna also do several other of our events.
Mm.
And it's just a great partnership between the city of Farmers Branch and the local school district.
And our teachers and our students love that opportunity. So we don't have to worry about any kind of funding because it's a wonderful opportunity for them as well as.
They have exposure and the parents come out and so it's a win-win.
So to your point, that could fall under art and public spaces, but it could also fall under artist outreach. Right?
Mhm.
So there's some overlap there.
I think there's gonna be overlap with it.
I think you're right.
Everything.
And it could be restored, you know, in
And then
a zillion different ways.
I think you're right.
So I think maybe, you know, but you wanna spread out the work, so not one committee is so bogged down
Yeah.
with.
Which is
Okay.
why some overlap is great.
Well, I think just separating contests out of festivals is helpful right there.
Because that seemed to be the.
I think that makes a lot of sense right off the bat.
So right now, if I look at it, there's really only 3 subcommittees we would be looking at. And then a possible addition of a planning committee. So I'd also like to propose, if we cut the word contest as a title of a committee,
Okay.
to change it from just being arts in public spaces to arts and culture in public spaces. Because then it does take it out of this idea, is it 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional performing? Because it brings in the idea that we're trying to create a cultural space of living in Farmers Branch. And we're doing that through the arts, right? So arts and culture in public spaces, artist outreach, and then festivals. And then the planning committee, whatever that needs to be called. Future development kind of thing, because it's never for tomorrow, it's always for next year. I don't know, are there others?
Well, David, what about grant making and funding? I think it was your contention that that probably needs to be struck,
Yeah,
correct?
I feel like that was a legacy carryover.
I think so
that-
too.
That I feel like personally, I've exhausted where we can go with that and even have gotten some city confirmation that maybe we weren't even really supposed, we're really not supposed to be setting up a 501c3 as a city committee. For example, that's one. Any kind of grant that we look after really has to be done in partnership or handed off to the city because the city council has to approve all of those things. So it seems like there's so many grant writing in and of itself already has built-in hoops that you have to, that are hair, that's why I lost my hair. And to add on these other layers of things, it seems like we've hit a dead end. We can always bring it back, or to the point of everyone around the room, if we realize, oh my gosh, we're doing a contest, or hey, we want to bring in a live musician and it's gonna cost some money. How do we get that? And the city says, sorry, no budget. Then we say, you know what, we're looking for donors. We need $500 donation. We can do that. Maybe we can do that. We need to ask if we can do that. Yeah, sponsorship. But it seems like the whole idea of this has lived its useful life and needs to be shelved.
That's what it
my
sounds like to me too, if there was a specific art
Purpose.
and public space and project or festival or whatever, and the city asked us to work on it, and the appropriate part of the response was the city should apply, do a grant writing for it or something, that would be.
And that
That
has
is
been
part
grant
of the
writer
notes.
for a new grant person,
Right.
coordinator, who I think will go through the things like you and I do and say, oh, you know what? We ought to focus on getting a grant for our arts and culture district. That will take 3 years. We need a committee for that. Hey, arts and culture people, and so I think you're exactly right. We've been kind of maybe going at it the wrong way, but it's because even the city wasn't set up to handle it, and now they are, so.
Sounds good. Everybody kind of agreed that we're gonna go ahead and. Good. Any other committees that you've thought about that would be beneficial or?
I haven't thought of another committee, but I am interested also in artist outreach. And, my suggestion would be that our item would be to have at least 2, maybe 3 events during the year, artist meetups with a nice agenda of, what is your art? What would you like, to do with your art in the Farmers Branch? Can you,
So did you attend the first one we
I did,
had?
I
Okay,
did.
so I.
That one was really-
To get with you
Yeah.
and we can
That had
talk
some
about
good-
that,
yes,
about what we can take from that was beneficial, what needs to change.
yeah,
Cause I've got all the rough notes on that.
yeah, I would
and-
love that. That was a
Yeah.
really good, I met a lot of people, stayed in touch with a lot of people. The second one was more just yeah, kind of a meet and greet
Right.
and,
I
and it
sort of
was
liked
good.
the round tables.
it was
though,
good. Yeah, I
we-
liked having some structure to some discussion and actually having,
The second one was difficult because I found that everybody got caught in 2 separate places.
Right.
So
but there also wasn't an agenda,
Mhm.
which is fine. But
Right.
I think that first one
helped.
really, I really enjoyed that one. I
Well,
think that had.
I'd love to get with you
Yeah.
and we can,
Is that something that you, what
Yeah.
would you have in mind for, artist outreach?
No, that sounds great, and I'm somebody who visits a lot of galleries in Dallas, so I'm sort of constantly collecting names of
Mhm.
people who, whose art is interesting, so, but that would be people we could reach out to and invite to something like that, so that makes sense, yeah.
So we're talking about Farmers Branch, people who live or work in
live,
Farmers Branch.
work, or go to school.
In Farmers, okay.
Isn't that our live, work, or attend school in Farmers Branch? Aren't those our?
or want to relocate.
Or one.
Can we entice you? They want to move into the arts and culture
We
district like I
have
am.
Perla who has an open spot right over there.
So do you want to, so the 3 subcommittees, do we want to start there for 2025 and then potentially?
There's
Got
four.
four.
Well,
We broke up to one and then got rid of the other one.
so you want to do the planning one as a separate one?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
I-
Because- because
I think it was discussed why it works well as a committee for now,
As a subcommittee?
as a subcommittee.
Okay,
So that there's abilities to have the conversations that are just about planning a year away, different than all the other things.
A little less reactionary.
So
And
here's,
more,
here's the thing, we have this worksheet that we're gonna fill out. And I think that will really help clarify if we'll bring this back, if there's a subcommittee you are interested in working on, out of the 4 that we're talking about, festivals, artist outreach, arts and culture in public spaces, and for lack of a better word, planning committee.
does anyone have a good title for that or?
I called it strategic planning, which
That's
then
great.
I
means
would too.
That's
it's
great.
in the future.
Yeah.
It's not just planning for tomorrow.
Now, would it be, I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3 goals. Would it be okay to have a 4th goal so that each committee has 1 goal?
Well, no,
And
here's the
then-
thing, each committee must have
It's a
3
pay.
goals. So each
Gotcha.
Or up
Two.
Up
Subcommittee, gotcha.
But
Up to.
my point
Okay.
is, this is really a good way to test out, does this committee support?
Can you even get up to 3 goals?
Can you even get goals out of the, up to 3 goals? So this is what I highly recommend before we vote on anything and set it in stone, is whatever committees you are interested in working on, or even have ideas for, fill out this and let's bring this back next month. And that may help define.
And you can also be on more than one subcommittee, so.
We
don't
would love for
feel
you to be on more than
that
one.
it's only one, you can, like
That's
Amy she did artist outreach and festivals and contests, so she overlapped.
So, and how about I do this? How about I re-email it to you and then if everyone will fill one out with at least one subcommittee that they want to be on, if not, fill out 2. And if you'll email it back to me, I'll compile the 4. Like if Rita wants to be on 1 or 2 committees, all the goals that you all send back to me. And then together next time we can discuss, okay, Brianna brought these goals, Tad brought these goals, and you all discuss, narrow them down to your 3 top goals,
Right.
and we can vote on them. And in January, we're ready to go.
And we'll also have
Sounds
some
like-
feedback from council of what their goals and vision is for the
Oh, that's true.
And Amy, is there any advantage to calling it arts and culture festivals instead of just festival?
I think, yes, we can. Yeah, I think that's totally valid.
I mean,
Because
it's a little bit of order around. it.
Yeah.
It's not any kind of festival that you think of, it's gotta be
No,
related
I think you're right. So then, David, my question is, the arts walk that you've wanted to do, does that fit under that category?
I would think so.
Which I think is really helpful, because now we're defining things a little bit more, because we would have Brain Starts Live, the Arts Walk, and I'd like to, try again at some point that Arts Day we've talked about, like Plano does.
Yeah.
That brings in musicians and poets and live artists and
And that's where.
food.
where us-
Culinary is an art.
Well, it really is. But it's highly cultural.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you've got
For
different-
Economic development, the Chamber of Commerce and sponsorships. But the way you get sponsorships is you have a good economic development person and
Which we have.
you're not going to them just as a citizen, you're going as a partnership. And then if you throw in the chamber, which is businesses, then usually all of those say, yeah, you know, the local restaurant says, yes, I want you to do this in front of my restaurant, and here's $1,000 of something or other. And if you get 20 of those, then suddenly you have funding, and you don't need a grant committee or whatever to do that. You're just working with economic development, you're working with the city resources and the Chamber of Commerce.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, and then that's the crossover to arts and culture and public spaces,
Right.
because the festival is the
Exactly.
celebration, and then it's all in public.
That's awesome.
What about the Sister City program?
Oh,
And
we
that's-
need a committee.
That's when we
Sorry.
do it, is in
Thank you.
October of next year.
Well, that sounds like a festival.
So
Should be.
do we want to, do we?
Put it
wanna add
under the
I
arts
would
and
put it
culture festivals.
I think so.
Well, but the question, Perla, I had for you though, was it was not just a welcoming event. You were also looking for a committee that could reach out to citizens to find host families.
Correct, yeah.
So that's I feel like that's a separate committee that works in addition with the Arts and Culture Festival. So I think there's where we have some overlap.
It does sound like it's a committee for that one event, because it has
That's like
such
an ad
a
hoc.
focused.
So I'm gonna
And
add
since it's
that.
happening in 2025, that could definitely,
Can come.
that's right.
That's why I suggested October 2025.
No, that's.
And I'm
fantastic.
excited
why
we're
the-
doing that.
And that's what's exciting about how the committees evolve each year when new events come up,
Yeah.
and depending on the direction of city council, then we know what committees we'll need for that following year to fulfill that are attainable.
So just to review, at this time, we're looking at arts and culture festivals, artist outreach, arts and culture in public spaces, strategic planning, and sister city.
That's
But you
what I
don't want to
have.
vote on any of this tonight because you want us to do this review work before we vote.
I really think we do need to do the SMART goals and bring that back, because it's possible when we actually do this, we may be able to combine a few things.
Yes.
I think that'll tighten us up a little bit.
So I will send out an email tomorrow, hopefully, if not Friday. We're Wednesday. Yeah, give me till Friday maybe. And with this attachment, and then if you will, put what subcommittee, your name, and then your goals. What do you see as the subcommittee obtaining their goals? It could be 1 sheet, 2 sheet. I think more than 2 is a lot, but that's up to you. You all have so many gifts. I wouldn't put it past you. You're fantastic. All of you add so much. And then email it back to me and I'll compile it. So then I'll say, here's what all. So then we're 1 step ahead for next month. We can review, we can narrow down the subcommittees. You all can decide on your top 3 goals for 2025. There may be a 4th goal that is achievable in 2026 that you could put there, but it's kind of, 4th on the list. And then we can vote on the subcommittees next month. We can make it an action item, and hopefully we can vote on the actual goals. I'll have that typed up. I can send that out before the end of the year. So starting in January.
We're ready to go. Can you remind us of the deadline to turn in the SMART goals? You want it 2 weeks in advance? Which means we only have
Well,
3
I
weeks
have-
because we're a week early.
you know me, I like a
Yeah.
week only. So
Week only, okay.
Yeah, if you get them to us this Friday,
I can
we
knock
have
out
till
some-
next Friday.
I'm hoping
Yeah.
what I'm doing is I'm literally sending you, thanks for coming last night. I enjoyed seeing everyone. Here are text.
It's so sincere.
Which, by the way, I've already sent, so some of you may already have it in your
Your
email.
homework.
So I'm sending, this is your homework. And I think I asked to bring it with you this time, but I will send it again and it's no problem. I'm so excited to hear all these great ideas. And if you can have it back to me, a week to 10 days, that would be great. That'd give me time to compile in between Bluegrass, Day of the Dead, Haunts and Houses. We have a lot of
Yep.
events coming up.
Which is our next thing. we're
Yes.
going to talk about.
GPT, did you catch all that? That's her memo.
But I will say, but it's gonna be like, hi, thank you so much. Please send this back. The earlier the better. It just gives me time to, because
And remember attainable goals too. I know we have, I mean, you can have such lofty goals, which we all do, as long as you think you can pull it off with a subcommittee, go for it. But if it's something that's so up here, just be careful because we want to be able to accomplish.
We want to be able,
Sometimes-
whoever is presenting in November of 2025,
That
we
they,
want them to be able to go in front of council and say, these are the things that we
Right.
set out to do and we accomplished all our goals.
We're all A-type overachievers in here and went straight A's.
Exactly.
Well, that sounds like a very good plan for us to have this into you in a week. You compile them, next month, we look at them, vote on them, and we're good to go.
yeah.
I-
And
that's great.
then you all will know what your focus is gonna be and we're kind of just
Well,
starting to
and some
streamline it a
some
little
of
bit.
these
I hope,
things really, we've got to get a jump on.
yeah.
Sister Cities, Branch Arts Live, Arts Walk. I mean, if we're gonna do these things, these take long-term planning, so we gotta get moving on them immediately. So I think that's so sensible. Okay, is there any more discussion on that, or can we move on to the next agenda item? Okay, agenda item 24-784. Receive an update on arts and culture in City of Farmers Branch, current projects, events, and upcoming events. Staff will present and discuss the current projects, events, and upcoming events related to arts and culture in the city.
So this is something I'd like to talk about. Since I'm Bonnie Newman, I'm the historical cultural specialist for the historical park. And there are a lot of events happening in the city and the opportunity is going to be even greater, being under economic development and tourism. But we wanted to, Hillary and I talked about this and we wanted to keep this agenda item and bring it. She has it in her historical preservation board. And it's just to tell you what's going on in the city. And so we're not reinventing every wheel, we're adding to what is already happening. So I'm going to read real quick. Bloomin' Bluegrass Festival. It's next weekend. You can read it there. It's Friday and Saturday, October 18th and 19th. Because you're part of the Arts and Culture Board, the City of Farmers Branch, you have an envelope in front of you, which has a pass for you to attend the Bluegrass Festival. There may be parking in there. I didn't look in the envelopes, but it's kind of like for all board members, it's kind of an honor. We wanted you all, we appreciate you volunteering your time. We would love for you all to come out to the historical park. I believe the venue, the venue is going to be open and that's going to be, and that's with the VIP. So you can go into the venue. You can listen to some great bluegrass music. So volunteering your time, we want to say thank you and we appreciate you and please come out and listen to some great bluegrass. I think I've been working it the last 10 years and
General store will be open,
Yeah.
so please come in to see that. When you get out of, weather should be nice, so, but I would say if it's space, get out of the heat for air conditioning. We'll have that open space if you come in.
I don't know.
Nice.
so we welcome you. And this is what we mean by tag on to what's already going on, to show like, I'm part of the Arts and Culture Committee and we're so excited. We got great things happening in the near future. So moving on from there, we have the craft fair, which is always the same weekend. Since the Branch Connection is closed, it's at the Community Rec Center. Branch Arts Live, which Dawn has filled us in, that's happening this Sunday. So Friday and Saturday Bluegrass Festival, Sunday right here out. Again, there is a Branch Arts Live and it's put on by the one and only Arts and Culture Committee. So kudos to all of you. Thank you. Haunts and Houses. This is trick or treating at the historical park. This is a great program that, for the little ones, it's after school, it's from 4 to 6. You can read, we have, the kids actually trick or treat at the doors, and there's, people, volunteers dressed up at each home. They give out, at each structure, and they give out candy. There'll be, the fire will be out here. They usually bring their fire truck. If there's, last year they had to leave, but they did come back. The library will come out and do some story telling, and it's just a fun, it's a couple of hours, and the littles, they're so cute to watch, and everyone has a good time. So, and they get candy. What's better than that? The Dia de los Muertos celebration, I talked briefly about. I put a flyer in front of you. The beautiful thing about this is this has evolved over the years. It's actually state award winning. It's won at the North Texas level, and it won at the state level also. The last couple of years, we created a community altar. And the beautiful thing about that is, because a lot of people don't know about this holiday, and I've learned about it over the last 5 years, and we've kind of evolved it in different ways. We've taken different approaches, and it's more what we've turned it into. It's a community event that around our gazebo area. It's outside, so we make it more like a street festival atmosphere. Nuevo Leon will be there selling some food. It's a free event. The church will be set up, and there'll be a community altar, and you can bring pictures of your loved ones that have crossed over, and you can write a note to them. We'll have some flowers on hand. You can light a candle or turn on the little button of the candle because there's no plan about historic structure, and just reflect on the celebration of their life. So it's so moving. And when you see at the end of the night, all the candles, like I get goosebumps thinking of it. I always get teary eyed, but it's actually a happy celebration. It's really a celebration. I was just thinking tomorrow is the anniversary of my father's passing. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm excited to celebrate his life. And we'll have face painting for the kiddos. We're going to have crafts. We're going to have mariachi, and we're going to be playing loteria, which is a form of bingo. And am I missing anything, Hillary? I think that's, and we're having we'll have Folklorico, and then another group, a husband and wife team. They're called Nova Pangea, and they're fantastic, and they'll be performing. So come on out as a resident, as a board member, come on out and be part of it, and join in the celebration. So we have that going on.
Those two events, about how many people attend both of them?
This one, or
That and the
Once last year got over 500 people at it. I want to say 600.
It's close to 700.
700. It's like every year it grows. This one had, I want to say 3 to 4.
350?
Yeah, something like that.
I remember mine.
Great.
Yeah, and it's really a lot of the local community
Yeah.
that come out to this, and they really like that. So, and we're also, if you know about it or you're interested, this year we're selling altars. So we'll have a community altar. If you're interested in celebrating your family, a lot of people will do their own altars in their home, but if you wanted to have an altar out there, here's an application for that. You're welcome. We are gonna have that available you can pick up a application from me to do that. And we can,
Send these to me digitally and I'll send them out.
I'm sorry, yeah. Email it to you with my email. Yeah, you bet. Okay. Charcuterie board. This is also, it just won at the regional level. Our charcuterie board class are still opening. This is usually a sold out class every time. There still are a few spots open. Just to let you know, it takes place right here in the Dotson House, Thursday, November 7th. And it just Friday won the Chops Award from North Texas. So that's exciting. Yeah,
Let's go get it.
we're excited. So the Victorian Fencing Society presents a grand assault of arms. This is for anyone who's never seen fencing, it's a way that, to exposure, to learn about it. I always do a Girl Scout workshop around it, because then the Girl Scouts will go and they earn their little fencing patch. But, this we offer every year. It's gonna be held in the church. It's a public exhibition of 19th century fencing, and you could read about it Sunday, November 10th from 1 to 3. It's a free event. And that's fun. Veterans Day celebration that this year it's at the rec center because the Branch Connection is under construction. Monday, November 11th. And that tells a little bit about that we do every year. The rec center and the aquatic center is doing a Halloween trick or treating on Halloween. And this is they'll set up in the south parking lot by the playground, and they'll have treats in their lobby. Wear your Halloween costume, bring your friends for a good time. You can snap some photos at their selfie stations. So this is just we also have, if you want family photos, we have a person who takes pictures, you can register for that. So there's all kinds of fun events happening in the city. So please come out. We'd love to have you. We appreciate y'all.
I have question, input, whatever. So with these events, there's also like little community events that are put on by neighborhoods. Like
Mhm.
my neighborhood has been hosting their own national night out. And I think they're all registered through the city, but we also have like a Halloween event that's coming up, like a little block party and stuff like that. Is that something that we would want the arts and culture committee to input anything into or be a present at?
I would suggest, only because it's not a city event or held on city property, you can just say it amongst, but not advertise it necessarily. That'd be my suggestion. But National Night Out was fun.
Yeah, and we all went out and we saw some of you all, and we had a good time.
Did I miss all the ones that you guys went to?
Yeah.
I didn't run into.
Went around,
Oh, yeah,
we
no,
took
we-
everybody
I did
there.
not.
No, we
went on the
tried.
bus, but,
It was
I was not on the bus either.
no, Hillary, I and Tony went out and we
had
hit.
6 different
Yeah.
parties and, yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
We had the mayor and firemen and police, but that was it.
Where were you?
I went to
In
one of the
Brookhaven.
districts.
Oh, we didn't go to Brookhaven. No. Where were you?
I'm at, Valley View Estates. What do you call it?
Across the street, we're on the Justice.
Oh,
Center.
Randy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we went there. Yeah, we were there. And we went with Tony, who they just moved, who always hosted it. And I used to live on Randy Lane for 15 years, so that was my old stomping grounds.
he was my next door neighbor at one point.
Okay. And I lived on the 2900 block, so that was my stomping ground. We were there for a while. You had a chili cook-off.
To Randy.
Oh, wow.
To Randy. Here's my list of.
Yeah, I have pictures of this.
Yeah, well,
The ladder was so.
National Night Out bingo. Jesus. There you go.
Well, we did hand out flyers
Yeah.
for upcoming events.
and we had some clips and some
Oh,
fun
swag,
little,
yeah.
we had some swag.
I had my stuff.
Yeah, the mayor didn't bring anything.
His wife and daughter.
Yes, but he didn't bring swag.
It was fun. Public Works brought some swag, and I think Parks and Rec had some
Yeah.
swag, so.
Made
It was fun.
Yeah.
And they had palettas on Randy Lane too.
Oh.
And Verlin, and Dave and Barb, I know a lot of them, just because I
We did.
lived over
Yeah,
there.
Sally and the barracks, they left us this year.
Yeah.
So, but, the girl that's in their house now, former house, she's running the community. event.
Samantha or
Oh, yeah, we
Stephanie
met.
Sawyer.
Stephanie, yeah.
Met her.
Yeah, we did. We met her and gave her a goodie bag.
Yep.
All righty.
Fun.
So lots of fun things going on. And then we have.
Can I just say officially thank you for these, for the tickets and everything for the Bluegrass Festival? I think that's gonna be really fun.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And I'm.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing all of you
It's the
and.
last one outdoors, so y'all should attend.
We've been going for decades.
Oh, I'm so glad.
That's
Yeah.
It's one of our favorite things to do.
Yeah. And Rhonda Vincent and Del McCurry both on Saturday night, so.
Yeah.
Well, Saturday day and Saturday night.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on to agenda item 24785, which actually is part of what you were just talking
Yeah.
about. Segue right into that. So we're gonna receive an update from committee members who have attended any parks, programs, events, or facilities around the city of Farmers Branch. So this is an opportunity for us to chime in when we have been to something that we would like to talk about, any of the city events or anything about the rec center, or was there something interesting at the library? So just our out and about man on the street as an arts and culture committee member. Has anybody been to anything lately?
I will say as an arts and culture committee, which, and also economic development, the Envision Center off Valley View, there's an exhibit in regards to this individual's, he was, I believe, I don't know if he was born blind or became blind, but he's a Smithsonian artist, and they actually have the exhibit inside.
Wow.
It's just.
Wow.
Where?
It's called Envision Dallas.
I think it's off of Alpha.
It's off Valley View.
Valley
and- No, yeah, it's Valley View, and I don't know.
On the west side.
Like Keenan Bridge, right?
It's the
Oh.
AT&T call.
There you go.
Sure.
Okay.
They just honored that guy at the city council meeting because they did a
White Walk
proclamation for, yeah.
Envision used to be Lighthouse for the Blind.
Correct.
Oh, sure.
And they renamed to.
Wow, I didn't know they
They
renamed
moved their
that.
headquarters from somewhere in Dallas to Farmers Branch to this ginormous building. It's a big deal.
And what is the art piece?
It's,
Is it a piece or a collection?
I don't know what he did. He's Smithsonian. I thought that was amazing, though. I mean,
And it's for the blind, so is this the paintings done for blind people?
it was a painting done by a blind artist.
Oh, by a blind artist. There's a guy in town that does, he takes famous paintings and he basically is making a sculpture of it. Casts it in bronze so that blind people can experience all of these famous paintings. I had him almost do an event at work one day. He ended up backing out of it because he said, no, I need to spend more time on my pieces for the blind, mostly kids, but he does it all through Envision.
Yeah, George Mendoza. He has been visually impaired since 15, world-renowned artist, author, Smithsonian, Paralympic athlete, activist. I mean,
Wow.
he's amazing, and his art's amazing too. And they do have it in Braille as far as the colors. And it was, I got to tour it, and I was completely astonished and overwhelmed. It was fascinating what they're doing there. So.
Wow,
That's at the
Sorry.
Envision building.
that's excellent.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
I think this is where I'm supposed to give a Firehouse Theater update. It's community things.
Yeah, it
We
is.
had, Peter Pan Junior was, 2 weekends ago. We had 40 kids on our stage. We had so many kids, we had to do, what they call double casting. And we had 6 shows over one weekend. We brought in about 900 people,
Wow.
to the theater that weekend. And October 17th through November 3rd, we're presenting A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, which is a murder mystery. One actor plays 12 different roles.
It is a fantastically well-written musical. It is just so
A little
fun.
bit of British humor, but it's a grand old time. We'll do that over 3 weekends, 15 shows, and we'll bring in around 2,000 people in that time frame from the middle of October until November 3rd.
And then you are currently auditioning
We're
for,
auditioning for Annie, which is our holiday show, and so we're accepting video auditions for that. And I guess they just extended that, so they added some more days for people to be able to do those auditions. So, and we've come up with a new agreement with the city, and so Perla and I are going to be joined at the hip because economic development is going to be working with us, and we're working with them to take some advantage of some of these people that are coming in, and then people that they're bringing in so that they can see the things that the city has to offer, the historical park, being 1842, Hoya, the theater and Mustang Station and all those things around. So, I'm kind of giving her some space because I know she's overwhelmed with working on her plan. Anyway, that's what's gonna be happening kind of going forward.
That's exciting, David. Thank you for sharing.
We have a lot of performances throughout CSB. I can't even begin to even tell you. If you want to go to the Fine Arts website, there's a ton. We'll be hosting the UIL marching contest tomorrow at Stain Ridge Stadium. So wish me luck with all that. And then I will also tomorrow night, we have the Hispanic Heritage at Field Middle School. I'm going to go see a dance concert at Creekview. I'm going to go see some theater performances at Creekview as well, but they are scattered throughout, the whole year of you name it, it's happening. October 17th is, we're gonna have a folklorical mariachi right before the football game. So if you want to come out and see that between 6 and 6:30, that's a fun event. It's just, there's lots going on. So if you ever want to come to something, there's lots to see.
Fantastic.
I went to Cottonwood this weekend. I don't know if anybody has been or in the past, but it's my favorite art festival in the DFW area. And for a minute there, it got kind of weird, but they have a completely new staff board that like selection criteria that brought in a whole bunch of new artists that I hadn't seen there before. And the variety of art was awesome. I mean, there was thread, music, jewelry, all sorts of visual arts mediums, sculpture. And the thing that I love about that arts festival is not only is there like a really big breadth of art, but there's also always a little area that they have set up for the kids, where the kids have an opportunity to like build these like paper hats or do a little clay throwing. And so they actually take home a little pot. And like there was like canvases and easels set up with some paints. There was like pipe cleaners where they were feeding beads through it. And then when you combine all of them together, it looked like ears of corn, like multicolored corn. I mean, there was just a lot of different cool activities, and they've been basically upping themselves every year, like improving upon it. And I love it. And I wish Farmers Branch could have incorporated some of the Blumengrass stuff and the Arts and Culture Committee into like merging in that way. And I feel like the Branch Arts Live would benefit from some of the ideas that they have had.
Well, that's the goal we've had all along, is to continue to grow it and incorporate other mediums.
And have vendors and
Yeah.
possible master classes.
We love that idea.
We have lofty goals. We started with what we could.
And we do offer lots of arts and crafts at our events, like Day of the Dead. We're gonna have several arts and crafts. My Girl Scout workshops, we're actually making swaps that are that corn that you just talked about that you can pin on your hat. So yes, we have great ideas, and thank you for sharing that. Anyone else have anything to add?
I have one more thing.
Yeah.
And because you brought up about the Firehouse Theater, I have a bunch of scouts that are interested in like the theater badge, merit badge, and it would be something that if y'all were interested in having like a session where we bring in our scouts and stuff like that, you could probably get away with charging like $15 if you have a 2-hour session and provide like a snack or something like that. But I definitely have a bunch of scouts that are interested in theater.
Cool. Is it Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts?
It's Scouting America, which was Boy Scouts,
Scouts,
but
okay,
I have
so
boys
open.
and girls in our troops.
Fantastic. Awesome.
I think I would be in trouble if I don't say something about Oliver Caven's activities. My faculty would come and hunt me down. So, our visual art students, showcase opens October 20th in, our galleries on campus. And they'll be there, I think, through almost the end of the semester, which is like December 12th. We just had our art sale. Sorry, we didn't meet a day earlier. It was this morning, and it was amazing. There was beautiful pieces. We have art theater production, which is 448 Psychosis. It'll open October 24th. And then we have our digital art and design UX UI exhibit space that's having an event November 13th. Where we're talking about our programs, but we're bringing in Jay Shu, who's a speaker and does, animation and all of that. So it's kind of more of like a digital space. And then we'll be showing off some of that cool artwork from those students. And then we have our fall dance performance that is November 14th. Did it open? Sorry. And then there's like 50 music events over the next 2 months. Pretty much, I want to say weekly on Wednesdays and Thursdays, we have our coffee concerts during the day, and then we have one that is in conjunction with Hispanic Heritage Month, and I don't know the actual date because we
Well,
forgot.
do you have a website that we can go to?
Yes, we have a calendar. Dallas College, you just put art and performing art calendar, pull it all up.
That's wonderful.
And we're also collaborating.
We are. Yes, so, but lots of things. So anytime you want to wander onto campus and go into one of our galleries, please do.
Fantastic.
Are there set hours in the day?
So it's, right now they're unlocked during business hours, so traditional, like
8 to 5?
8 to 6, I think. And then some of our receptions are in the evening, so that you can get in the evenings. And then Saturdays are like the digital gallery's open because it's in an open space. Our forum gallery has a door. So if there's Saturday classes going on, which typically there are, you can open into the space.
And I have a painting on display at the Visual Art League of Louisville is doing their annual juried show, which I am in, and it's at the Louisville Grand Theater, downtown Louisville in the main gallery.
Mhm.
It is exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Last weekend I went to the Nasher, but I'll have to go to the Brookhaven.
Yes. Keep it in Farmers Branch.
Yeah.
Love it.
Awesome.
Well, thank you all for sharing. We appreciate everything. And if you have a membership to the rec and you work out there and next month you can say you stop by there and saw the sculpture as you walked in.
I did go to the library today.
Okay. Love it.
The library side, I love the big,
Yep.
the books.
I do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right, well, moving on, we talked about, obviously, next month, our big thing is plan of work, voting on the subcommittees, setting ourselves up for success in 2025. Are there any other agenda items that we need to add?
I think that's a big one to keep, like really stay focused and try to get all that voted on.
I'd like to see if we could prod the city council if there's any interest still in an art piece that replaces that fountain in the back.
It's still on hold. I did follow up with that to Chris, who's overseeing that. He's still waiting on some decisions, so it's still on hold. I'll keep you updated on that, but I did reach out to him and I did get an email back, so.
Some of the stuff that y'all had talked about, one of the things that popped up for me was screen captured trees that have solar panels and leaves that when they spin with the wind, they also have the solar panel that provides electricity. So, but it looks kind of artistic to me. And you don't want the artsy part or the energy part of it. There are options where like you can have like a food sculpture that I've screen captured.
Nice.
It's like this. Oh,
Any other agenda items to add? No? I will entertain a motion
I
to,
will motion. to
I'll
adjourn.
second.
thank you.
And what is the time?
Well, hold it, we haven't voted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Somebody might want this to go on forever. So,
Before it's passed.
all in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. The meeting is adjourned at 7:43 PM. We're still recording.
about. Excuse me, like, sometimes I think, oh, here's the food.
And, agreement. giving the city, you know, a block of tickets. We have to have it on our system. When I need it.